So, your next session is all about marketing, and I am especially passionate about this section and very excited to be sharing this with you because this is a conundrum for a lot of people. A lot of people are out there, especially entrepreneurs and leaders, looking for the next best thing. And so, I'm going to be sharing with you what we do for ourselves as well as for our Circle of Excellence members when it comes to marketing your products and services. Now, first and foremost, I want to introduce to you the money train. The money train is a marketing and sales funnel or a marketing and sales system, if you may, that you're going to use in order to increase your cash flow, make sure that you can actually predict your income on a more regular basis, also to help you find the right clients. I mean, how many of you are sitting with really demanding clients, and the problem there usually is poor qualifying of clients, which lead to these people that you find difficult and they're demanding, and you just don't feel like it's your people. The money train, this marketing and sales system, will also challenge you a bit in terms of the discipline that you apply in your business from a marketing and sales perspective. And this is also going to be a very, very useful piece of technology if you're here because you want to scale your business and maybe even sell your business later. So the money train, as you can see here, is a train that consists of 5 carriages. And the technology here is that if you want the money train to produce the best cash flow and revenue for you on a consistent basis, you want to make sure that you spend equal attention in each one of these carriages. You can see there's a lead carriage, there's a trust carriage, a love carriage, a sales carriage, and a journey carriage. And I'm going to be taking you through each and every one of these now. The lead carriage, the first carriage, you can see there is highlighted in white on your left-hand side. This carriage is where you actually start collecting leads for your business. Now, this is something that's been preached to people to oblivion. And I want to give you our spin on it, and not just our spin on it, but this money train has been tried and tested in our own businesses, with our own clients, with incredible success. And what I see happens many times is those who are the most successful in the money train are those who really, really take the time and effort to focus on this first carriage initially, more so than the others. So I just told you I want you eventually to spend equal time in 5 carriages, but initially I really would love for you to spend some time here because that will just set you up so much better for success. So in the lead carriage, you're going to have to come up with who is my lead, who's my ideal buyer. And you'll see there on the first bullet, I'm saying who is your Lisa, because I want you to get it to the point where it's that specific. I want you to be able to understand and profile your ideal buyer so well that you can actually identify someone who's already in your network and give them a name. Maybe it's a prospect that you've been looking to get. Maybe it's a client that you currently have that's a wonderful client. But if you profile your lead properly, you'll be able to give that person a name. And then in future, rather than saying I want more leads or prospects, say I want more Lisas. In other words, I want people who exactly fit that profile because I understand that person's titles, I understand that person's buyer behavior, I understand the problems that's keeping them awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. I understand this person perfectly. For example, our target market, our ideal Lisa, is called number 1, a conscious leader. Number 2, who have a title, usually like coach, consultant, trainer, speaker, author, CEO, and they usually have the values of freedom, prosperity, purpose. If you can go and define your ideal buyer that well, you can actually start looking for Lisas and send them on this journey, on this money train journey, where they're going to go through these 5 carriages. Once you have clarity on your Lisa, you're going to launch what we call your Project 500, which is going to be to find your first 500 Lisas. There's many places you can find them, and I'll be sharing some of that with you, but LinkedIn is a very good start. We've had tremendous success on LinkedIn with identifying our Lisas simply because LinkedIn is a great social platform for professionals, and also LinkedIn allow you to look for people per job title. So if you are clear on Lisa's overall umbrella, which is in our case a conscious leader, and you clear on your Lisa's job titles, which in our case is speaker, authors, consultant, coaches, CEOs, and you know the values they live by, you can actually start looking for these people on LinkedIn with a tool like Premium or Sales Navigator. So, in the process of identifying your Lisa, you might want to do something like a niche assessment. This should be available for you to download in the program. You want to ask yourself, who are they? Who are these people that you're looking for? In this example, I've highlighted an auditor. Once you have that information, you can figure out where they are. These auditors are hanging out at associations. Once you know that, you move to the third column and you can ask yourself the question, but why will they buy? And what I've highlighted there is these are auditors that like to travel. And so they are looking for solutions while they're on the road. Number 4, you can then ask yourself, how can I help them? Well, you can help them potentially access templates and solutions with a membership. And then column 5, when is the best time to reach them? If you understand your auditor, you will know your best time to reach them in terms of marketing would be after work, also in terms of providing solutions. So let's say this is Lisa. We can say, in this case, the niche assessment has helped us to identify that Lisa is an auditor that hangs out at associations, that likes to travel, will benefit from a membership that gives the templates, solutions, and the latest information in financial services, and we're going to be able to reach her after work. So now you can see, if you're not very clear on that Lisa, there's a lot of opportunities that you miss out on that you would have had if you spent more time here in the lead carriage. Now, I know I mentioned in the beginning that it's going to be useful for you to find a Lisa, launch a Project 500, which is find 500 Lisas, and start looking for her on LinkedIn. But there's so many other platforms that you can use to create your first 100 active leads. So, for example, on the left-hand side of this column, you can go and look in your current contacts. You can go and look at your email list, and rather than sending bulk email to people, you can actually go start finding these Lisas by sending your first 50 emails in a very personalized and customized way. I call them love letters. So imagine you sending a love letter with the use of your current email database that you have to 50 people that fits your ideal buyer, and say things like, for example, hi Lisa, this is whoever here. I've seen on Facebook that you've just been in Italy and are having a fantastic time. Look, I have this new product that I'm launching and I think it will really solve the following problem for you. So if you're interested, why don't we get onto a call and chat with each other? By the way, I see your kid has just graduated and I'm so happy for you. I would love to hear all about it. Now, this script by no means is perfect, but you get the idea between sending an email like that versus a bulk email that's automated and everyone knows it. Then you can see there on from your current contacts, you can go look for these people on LinkedIn. You can find them on your WhatsApp chats, start checking in with people regularly, build rapport and relationship. You can go and look for your social champions, which is those people on your social media who constantly like, share, and comment on your content, or you can go and look within your global community. You as a Circle of Excellence member now are in a global community, and there's so many people in this community worldwide that you can create relationships with. Now, you're probably not going to get a result if you send them a WhatsApp and say, hi, this is me, I'm a Circle of Excellence member, do you want to buy my product? That's not going to turn them into a prospective client, but we will explain to you of the money train what you can do in order to get that relationship to a point where people really ask you, listen, what do you do? And really, what can I buy from you? You can also look for these leads in your new contacts. You can do live events, your own. You can go and attend live events. You can make use of client referrals. You can attend industry events worldwide. You can go to network events. You can get people's cards. You can, at the network events, assess who's in your ideal target market. And that's, I think, where a lot of people at these network events go wrong. They go with the idea of getting a client. Whereas if you get this right, you'll go to events looking for Lisas. And even if you only spot one or two of them, you have the opportunity then to get them on your train and take them on this journey with you. And then, of course, exclusive membership clubs is also a fantastic way to start filling your list. Now, This infographic says you want to create 100 active leads for your list. Now, this is what I would recommend for a person who's new in marketing, but at the level you are at already. You're a Circle of Excellence member. We got you in here through your application because you're a quality individual with a purpose and someone who really want to play a bigger game, but also potentially want to start playing globally. You do not want to start with a list of 100 people. You want to really start with a list of at least 500 people and start looking for them via all these resources. You may want to make 250 of these LISAs or qualified leads. You want to maybe get 250 from your current contacts, maybe 250 from your new contacts. Maybe you feel your current contacts is not LISAs at all, and that's where you went wrong. And so you want to get all of them from your new contacts. It doesn't matter. Project 500 is for you to start putting together on an Excel sheet or in a CRM system, depending on what you prefer, your 500 leads that's going to go on a train journey with you that represents the profile of a LISA. So this is one of the big Kickstarter carriages. So I do want to recap so you have clarity on this. Ask yourself, who's your LISA? Make use of the niche assessment there to get clarity on it. Number 2, go and put your project 500 together and have 500 qualified leads on a list or an Excel sheet or CRM software system that you're going to take on this journey with you. Start looking for them on LinkedIn or any of the other ways that we've suggested, and we've only suggested a few. This is just a really good start for you to get people onto that lead carriage. You see, the lead carriage is all about the power of activity, because activity is what creates momentum. I can't tell you how many times it's happened that a person would come to me and say, but Landi, I did go onto LinkedIn, I found 10 people and it didn't work. Or Landi, I did do my sales presentation to 2 people and I don't seem to get a result. I'm not talking here with activity and momentum about 10 leads. I'm talking about 500 plus leads. I'm not talking about one sales presentation. I'm talking to you getting to the point where you've done 500 sales presentations and so on and so on and so on. So when we take you through this money train with its 5 carriages, you're going to have to generate a lot of leads, a lot of activity in order to get to where you want to, which is cash flow, high revenue, scaling, predictability, and really quality clients. So you can have to do things over and over again. And so momentum means you have that high activity, you're maintaining that high activity, but you're doing it on a consistent basis. So I find some of our most successful Circle of Excellences run high activity. It's not just a post here or there, it's doing a lot. For example, when we fill one of our business masterminds with 10 people, it takes 800 responses, not even invites, on LinkedIn to get these people registered for one business mastermind. Now, it may sound overwhelming, but at this stage, I already want to give you a tip, and that is you do not have to generate all these leads yourself. Once you are very clear on what your LISAs look like, I do recommend that you get a virtual assistant, a student, or a family member who just go and drive activity for you. In other words, they're very clear on the lead that you're looking for, and they pump these leads into this money train, which then leads you to the second carriage. The second carriage is called the trust carriage. And so the mission in this carriage is to take all of those leads that you found on LinkedIn, or who you've sent love letters to, or who you found at an event. Maybe you spoke from stage and there was somebody in the audience. You want to now take all those leads on a trust journey, each and every single one of them. So you don't want to leave one of them out. All of them have to come with you. And so you're going to put them now into the trust carriage. And there's really one big objective here, and that is to get them to trust you as an expert in your field. Are you able to get every single one that's a lead to trust you as an expert in your field? No. So naturally, people's going to start dropping off at this stage, and it's okay. That means you just need to fill your lead carriage with more people. In the trust carriage, you're going to help them trust you as an expert in your field, by helping them overcoming the obstacles that there is for them at the moment. They have obstacles, they have objections, they're not sure. They're like, who are you? I feel sort of nice in this space because you seem to understand my type very well. Maybe you spoke on stage and you described the problem that this type of person have, and they go, yeah, I hear you. Or maybe you've done a podcast or a YouTube video, or maybe you send them a love letter via email and they go, look, I really like you. And so, but now the person has questions, and you have to overcome the obstacles here. So, for example, if a person do not like coaches, or they're distrustful of coaches because of previous experiences, you're going to have to work extra hard here to gain trust again. You're going to have to help people get credibility, that they feel you're credible. If people out there feels that consultants are sharks, you're going to have to work extra hard here to prove that you're not. So a great way of doing it is by using sampling. So you may want to do a boutique event here where people can get a little bit of taster of you, or you want to actually go and have a one-to-one meeting with people where you have a great conversation, or you may want to do some initial assessment on them so that they can see, just by the nature of the questions you're asking, that you actually know what you're talking about. So that's what you want to do here in this trust garage. Now, you can actually deploy many trust strategies. The idea is not to say that your trust strategy is right or wrong. The idea is that you have to test and measure it over and over again so that we can see exactly what works in your business. But we have done that over and over and over again with our international businesses. And we have found 3 ways of sampling that really works well for us, and has also got some great results for our Circle of Excellence clients. So I want to share those with you. The first one is a one-to-one meeting. That creates a lot of trust. I got a case study here for you, because you don't just want to do any one-to-one meeting. This document or infographic will be available for you to download as well. And I don't want to go through all the detail here. I want you to go and study this. Go and study this in detail. Have it on your phone where you sit in between meetings and read this very well. Or if you have to, print it out and go through it in detail and make your own notes on it. But during the one-to-one meeting, you want to pay attention to a few things. The environment in which this one-to-one meeting is taking place is incredibly important when it comes to creating trust. So the venue has to be 5-star. If you want to be perceived as a person that's 5-star, that gives 5-star solutions, and therefore has 5-star products, service, and offerings, and want to charge a 5-star price, you have to choose 5-star venues like hotels. Something like a cafe just won't do. So pay attention to that. The style there, what are you dressing? Are you dressing really down, or are you dressing like a 5-star person? The armor, in other words, are you taking sales armor with you? By now, hopefully, you've been through the section on sales with Mike, where he's giving you incredible sales psychology and intelligence on how actually to convert a lead into a sale. And he's spoken to you about sales armor. Do you have sales armor with you at those meetings, or is it just you? Are you taking a stunning gloss brochure with you, or coffee table book, or your latest book you've written, or are you just sitting there and it's just you and you're in your t-shirt and jean? Can you see how it's not helping people to trust you as an expert in your field? 2 are better than 1. Always take a wingman or woman with you. Make an effort prior to the meeting. Research the person you're going to meet with. Speak in a familiar way. So if you're speaking with a consultant as a potential client, use the consulting language. If you're speaking with a person in the construction industry, use that language. And then, of course, help people experience your quality by giving them samples of your work. If you're a speaker and you're meeting with an event organizer, make sure you have a stunning media kit with you. If you're a coach and you work with other people, maybe have a nice gloss infographic with results with you. And if you're a consultant, maybe have a nice industry report with you that gives them sampling of what you do. Another case study is to create trust with events. It's one that we've used very successfully over the years. You can do these events locally, you can do them worldwide, you can partner with these events. It's all up to you. But big stages really help people create trust. Now, it doesn't always have to be a massive stage. It can be you being a guest speaker at other person's event. So you can be a guest speaker, or you're going to be a speaker on people's podcasts. But we find that in-person events especially is incredibly powerful. You may not want to do that. You maybe want to do webinars, or you have a different idea, but events is very, very powerful. And I don't want to use the word still powerful, because many people think events are over, whereas we believe it's only the start. When you're at these events, it's very valuable and useful to have your books that you've written there. Maybe you have some marketing collateral you can pack out there. We use our lead magazine to create authority and credibility, and especially to help people create trust, because we have case studies in there of our Circle of Excellence members that's massively accelerated over the years. You know, you can see at the bottom there, people. It's very important who's the people that you surround yourself at events. That's why you don't just want to be a guest speaker at any event or at any on any webinar, because people's going to judge you based on who you surround yourself with. So whether you're having your own event, make very clear, make very sure you have quality people at your event. Make sure if you have a webinar and you're doing a partnership with someone, that it's with people of high quality. And if you even attend events and you're looking for quality clients, make sure you attend quality events. When we have these events, we have our banners up. It also creates credibility. It creates trust. We put our logos on there and our sayings. And then what we do is we have an annual event schedule, which is quite full, packed with events every single year, which brings me back to the whole idea of making sure that you drive high activity. So if you want to actually, in your trust strategy, use events to create more trust with people, you want to make sure that September or October the previous year, you start planning. Which summits are you going to attend? Which events are you going to go to? Are you going to host any of your own events? Will you be a guest speaker at other events? Where's all these events, and book them into your calendar. The third case study that really, really works well in our environment and ecosystem is to create trust with referrals. So really asking yourself, what is the product that people need to refer? You know, so many times we say to people, oh, can you give me a referral? But the person you're asking doesn't even really know what you're offering. So make sure you make it very clear what you're offering to the referral, so that this person actually can refer you. Make sure, again, you have marketing collateral, or a landing page, or a website, or an explainer video or brochure that really, really explains what is on offer. How does it get offered? How can the referral work for a person? What will happen? You know, it's one thing for me to go, oh, will you please give me a referral? And you go, sure, love you, have a nice evening. It's very different if I say to you, look, can you please give me quality referrals? Number one, this is what the offer look like. Number two, this is how my referral process is going to work. I have a software, and if you share the link and the referral comes from you, there will be a commission available to you. Or maybe you don't have a referral platform. Maybe you just give them 3 steps. Maybe that is in an infographic that says, step 1, you discover the person. Step 2, you WhatsApp me their details. Step 3, I get in touch with them in the next week. Step 4, I get back to you. That type of thing. So who's your referral partners in joint ventures? Who's the people you're going to look out for, or who's the ambassadors that's going to refer people to you? You don't want your referrals to just be random. You want it to be a strategy. So make sure, again, at the end of every year that you plan your referral strategy for the next year, because it becomes a very powerful trust strategy in your money train. Ask yourself why people will refer to you. Why would they do they trusted leads and resources and share it with you? Then have a strategy, have a referral plan, have a referral kit. A referral kit is everything that a referral needs in order to make it easy for them to refer people to you. Maybe you put in your referral kit a brochure. Maybe you've put in there your commission plan, you know, how they will be benefiting if they refer. Maybe you put in there, explain a video, make it easy for people to refer. More even so, get them excited to refer things to you. And then of course, you want to come up with a dashboard so you can track and measure your referrals. There's no way to quicker get rid of referrals if you don't track and measure the leads that come through to you and you close that loop. In other words, after you've taken certain actions with the lead that's been passed on to you, you close the loop by going back to them. So here are some of the ideas that you can follow by creating actually a very powerful trust strategy in your money train. Now, at this stage, you've taken these jolly leads or jolly Lisas onto your money train. They've been onto the lead carriage. It's been a great party, but with all great parties, not everyone, stay standing. So only a X amount of those leads went to your trust carriage. Then in your trust carriage, your mission was to overcome obstacles, and your mission was to get them to trust you as an expert in your field. Again, you're not going to be able to achieve it with everyone, but those who still on the money train with you are becoming incredible hot leads, and these people now have your trust. So they are ready to move on to the next carriage, and this is what we call the love carriage. So the love carriage is where you're going to start building relationships with these people who you got to trust you in the trust carriage. So some people ask me, Landi, okay, wait. So what really is the difference between a trust carriage and a love carriage? Now, in the trust carriage, you do not have the person's trust yet. So it would make sense to say in the trust carriage, we would assume the person came from a new business development environment. In other words, this is a stranger. They don't know you from a bar of soap. You have to gain their trust. But the same trust carriage applies for people who's been in your space for a long time. You have many leads, connections, peers, even current clients that doesn't quite have your trust yet. So you want to make sure you take all those people through your trust carriage, your current leads as well as your new business leads. And again, some of them will stay on board, some of them will jump off. And those who's jumped off, you have now taken into the love carriage. And now you want to deepen your relationship with them. This is really the relationship carriage. This is not the I'm convincing you that I'm credible, or I'm getting you to trust me, or I'm overcoming your objections. You've done those now. Now you're going to build relationships with them. This is real. This is heartfelt. This has meaning. This is the type of thing that makes these people going through a real good qualifying process. And this is the sweet sauce that's going to make sure that these people do not end up being the most demanding and difficult people here, because they've been through the trust process with you already. They believe in you now. And they believe in your solutions. And by the way, they are one step away from wanting you to sell them something, but not yet. So yeah, you do not sell them. You are in the love carriage, and there's a lot of love here. Here, you laugh, you wine and dine, you take people out, you prove to them that you care. And so in order to make this easier for you, we've come up with love strategies for your business. So there's 4 ideas I want to share with you, but I would love for you to be more creative and come up with your own love strategies. But what you can do in the love carriage is you can solve people's problems. People feel very loved if you solve their problems. How can you do it? Maybe you put on a one-to-one strategy call where you solve their problems, and you give them that half an hour or hour completely for free, and you say to them, look, we've overcome the trust now, and now I want to do something for you. I want to help you. Let's say you sell weight loss programs. You maybe say, look, you've seen me at the event. I've given some real great content there, and I've created great trust with you, but now I'm going to go onto a strategy call with you for half an hour or an hour, and I'm just going to solve your specific problem. People love that type of stuff. Or if you look at the other tentacle there, by the way, we call this the octopotion. That's why the thing have tentacles. So if you look at the other tentacle there, you can save people time. You can go to a person and say, hey, you are time sensitive. I'm time sensitive. Let's go online. Let's do a webinar together. Let's partner on a webinar together. Let's save each other time. And let's do a webinar on how we can give other people a great solution. They don't have to get into a car and come to an event, it's going to be on a webinar. So the way we position it is that we're saving them a lot of time, and people appreciate that stuff, you know. Make something special for people. Take people out to lunch or to a dinner. Invite their partner with, you know. Say to a person, look, you've seen me speaking at an event, and you're a speaker too. So I'm aware that speakers do not always introduce each other properly. Can I introduce you at the next event where you're speaking? Or, you know, maybe you're in the consulting scene and you go, you know what, I know you have a big deal or a big sales gig coming up in a boardroom. Can I come along and be your wingman or introduce you to the CEO and the executives, and make it special for them, you know? Maybe send them a gift. Don't think gifts is over. People more than ever before, because of the world of electronics, like to receive a special gift. So why not do that? Or, you know, you can, there at the bottom right tentacle, help them find a root cause. As a love strategy, I find this actually to be one of the most powerful love strategies, is where you do a type of diagnostic or an assessment. It can be online or offline. I mean, you've seen in the previous section on sales, if you've been through that, those powerful sales questions that Mike has shared with you, you know, that's a type of diagnostic. So put in a diagnostic in place that make people feel that you're actually really solving a problem for them, by finding the root cause, in this case, by doing a diagnostic and assessment. You don't have to make it a very deep assessment. I mean, that's a product you can even charge for later. I'm talking about an assessment here that shows people, look, in these areas, you're in the red. In these areas, you're in the orange. You're okay. In these areas, you're in the green. You're doing fantastic. That in itself helps people a lot in terms of understanding where their problems are. And so if you've done the lead carriage, if you've taken Lisa on a lead carriage journey, you found her, you found Lisa, and now she's on your train, and you've taken her through the trust carriage, and she can now honestly go, look, I trust you. Then you take on a love carriage where the relationship starts to build. You are ready now for the next carriage. Now, you may listen to this and go, how many touch points do I need in all of these carriages? Well, once you start refining the money train, you literally need one touch point in the lead carriage, one touch point in the trust, and one in the love. You don't have to have all these, you know, weeks, even months or years of creating trust and love and finding leads. You can have one intervention with leads. For example, you find the person on LinkedIn. 2, you take them on the trust carriage. For example, you take them to a boutique event or mastermind, or you're on stage. 3, you take them to the love carriage. You have a call with them afterwards where you do an assessment with them. 4, you're going to go now to the next carriage, which is called the sales carriage. Now, once you become the master of the money train, people at this stage will ask you, how can I work with you? Now, it's not going to happen in the beginning. Why? Because you've not taken massive amount of people through this money train. Remember, in the beginning, I said activity and momentum is key for this money train to become extraordinary. So once you've practiced it over and over and over again, you will end up eventually with people between the love carriage and sales carriage asking you how they can work with you. Then you know you got it right. Now, you don't necessarily want the love carriage and the sales carriage to be the same intervention. You want them to be different interventions. So once the love is really getting good and the person's going, look, how can I, how can I work with you, or what's your products or services, or that type of thing, it's no different than the person that's asking you how they can marry you, you know. So basically, in the lead carriage, you went on a date. In the trust and love carriage, you got engaged, and at the sales carriage, you're now getting married. So when the people get to the point where they say, I want to marry you, you don't go yes and have the event on the same day. You go and put a separate meeting together for your sales carriage. Why is that important? Because now both parties know that a sales pitch is going to happen and the guard is down. That's very, very important. So when it comes to the sales carriage, there's 3 very important points. Now, you've been through a whole section of sales with Mike, so I'm not going to stand here for too long or park here with the money train for too long. For me, there's 3 principles when it comes to the sales section in your sales carriage that you really, really want to note down. Number 1, have a look at your diary. If you have a look at your online diary, or if you keep an offline diary, look at the amount of entries that's in your diary for a sales pitch per week. If there's one or two, it's too little, and you will not create the revenue or the cash flow or the profit that you deserve to be prosperous. Remember, as a Circle of Excellence member, you're here because you want to be prosperous. You want to have the freedom to do what you want, with who you want, when you want. And that's not going to happen with very low activity. And in the same sentence, many of you are here because you have such an extraordinary purpose, and you're just not going to be able to reach the amount of people that you want to if you do not have a diary full of sales presentations. Ultimately, that's where conversion is going to take place. The sales carriage is where the person convert from the love carriage into an actual sale. This is really where the money comes in. So you really want to track and measure this money train throughout the process. You want to make sure that you track how many people come into your lead carriage and convert into a trust carriage. How many of them stays in your trust carriage and go into the love or relationship carriage? And very important, how many in your sales carriage how many in your love carriage convert ultimately into sales, and how many in those sales carriages convert into a client that's going to go on to the next carriage, which is your journey carriage. So at this stage, to recap the intelligence that Mike has taken you through, you really want to go and make sure that you do have a sales presentation. Mike has taken you in detail through the sales pitch deck, which is basically 10 slides. You don't have to have only 10 slides, but each slide really represents the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things that need to be in your sales presentation to make up for stunning sales architecture that convert incredibly well, but also in there has the sales psychology that's required for a person to convert from the love carriage to the sales carriage and ultimately into a client. I also here want to remind you again of your sales readiness armor, the armor you need to surround yourself with if you want to set your sales presentation up for success. You don't have to put all the sales armor in place, but if you can, why not? Some of you are working on your blueprint design. Some of you have worked with that blueprint design on me for quite some time. Some of you have it finished and some not. The blueprint design is definitely one of the most powerful sales armor out there to convert a person into a client. Some of you will be happy by just starting doing with a close brochure and having a nice close brochure in place. Some of you will have your sales pitch deck done and you finished it with Mike, and those of you are very well on your way. Some of you have an explainer video, some have a hardcover book. It doesn't matter. I say the more sales readiness armor you have, the better you are equipped for that sale. And then just a reminder of the great case studies that Mike has taken you through in terms of how this works for other people. You know, Liv Conlon here did not only go and up her revenue exponentially with her Circle of Excellence program, but her marketing, her branding message, and especially her purpose, which helps her to get the message out there that she wants to the world. So the better you're going to combine the previous section, which is sales, with this section, which is the marketing and more specifically the money train, the more you're going to get results like Liv has. So now when the sale is concluded and you sold this person your offer, congratulations. This person is now ready, or your Lisa, to jump onto the journey carriage. This is really where you start to deliver your products and services. And because we're talking about marketing and sales, I just cannot talk about marketing and sales and leave out the journey, because the journey that your client goes on has the opportunity to give that client of yours a big fat wow. And the more you can give them the wow factor, the more you'll be able to upsell them. In other words, the happier they are in the journey carriage, the bigger the party in the journey carriage, the better the chance that they're going to go all the way back to your lead carriage again and go down this journey with you again, where you can upsell something to them. The healthier and happier the people in your journey carriage, the more fantastic referrals you're going to get from them, because they just won't be able to stop talking about it. You're going to create a lot of ambassadors who talk about you, who's excited about you, and here's the key word, who really appreciate the products and services that you've put together for them to help them create what they want in their lives. You create loyalty. And it's crazy, you know, during my years when I studied in varsity, I wanted to do my thesis on loyalty in the workplace, and I couldn't find one book. And that for me is some sort of indicator of what's happening at the moment in relationships with people. So if you're someone who's really good with relationships and you keep your promises, you are probably in the top, I don't even want to say 1%, top 0.00001% in the world. So you really have an opportunity in this journey carriage to make it nice for people, to keep your promises. And I promise you, they're going to want to have more. So before we completely step off the money train, I want to give you some examples of how the money train can operate in real life. Now, these are only examples. I can probably do 1,000 of these columns for you, but I really want you to put your preference in here. Every business is different. Every person is different. You know, there's activities in this sales funnels of things you just do not like, and then there's things in here that you absolutely adore. So we want to make sure that you have money train sales funnels that work for you and also excites you. So example one there is you can kick off your money train by getting people in your lead carriage with LinkedIn chats. I'm not talking about just sending LinkedIn friend requests. I'm talking about sending so many invites to Lisas on LinkedIn that they start becoming chats. You know, if you get up every single morning and you have a 100 to 500 people who's chatting with you at any given time on LinkedIn, I would pretty much say that you got your money train started very, very well. Now, some of those LinkedIn chats is going to get really excited about what you do, and they're going to want to come and see you chat on some sort of stage. You know, maybe you have an event, maybe you're a guest speaker. And remember, this doesn't apply to all of you. This is just a speaker's example. So now they want to come and see you on stage. You've created a lot of trust during that stage event. They literally have physically looked up to you and gone like, this person knows what they talk about. They're not just a fly-by-night. I want to know more. So on that stage, you offered as a love strategy some free online sessions for some of those people in the audience. And then they come to an online session. You help them specifically solve some of their problems. They say at that online session, I really want to work with you. You go and put a separate sales meeting together. You take them through your sales presentation. They love it. They convert into a new client. So classic example of how the money train works in that ecosystem. Let's look at more of a consulting or coaching ecosystem. So let's say you as a lead carriage run a very successful podcast. You keep on delivering really quality content with that. You've put a real good audience of Lisas together that listens to you regularly. And what you do on that podcast is you invite people to fill in a free assessment. That is the trust strategy. So they fill in the assessment pops out great results for them. So the assessment shows them, wow, you've not been able to solve your problem, but look, your problem is, this is your red areas, this is your orange, this is your green. The person go, wow, this is so cool. No one's been ever able to do it for me. And so once the assessment is finished, you give them a free workbook with some videos that works them through the results and solve initially some of their problems. From the workbook online material, they get upsold with the help of maybe an evergreen webinar into your products and services. The webinar has got the same sales technology and pitch deck in there that Mike taught you about. And then from there, they become, for example, a new subscriber. So this can be something that works in a coaching, consulting, or online universe. And then a third example there is, in your lead carriage, you go to a business event, you collect cards, you spot your Lisa or your two Lisas, you exchange details as a trust you decide to go and have a coffee in a hotel. You have a fantastic conversation. You create a lot of trust with the person there. Just then you invite them to your next mastermind that's coming up, which is a boutique event. They attend that. They feel the love. You do after that a sales demo to 10 people, not to one person, for example, and convert them into new customers. So this is how you use all these touch points and interventions, but always keep it in line with the system of the money train to make sure that you take these people through all these steps. Now, you want to really make sure that you map out your money train. Go and get a piece of paper, or maybe do it on an Excel sheet. We love to use sticky notes when we map out our money trains, and then go and have a specific look at what makes you special. We've given you some examples here. The more you get to know me and Mike, the more you'll see how we do stuff. But there honestly is nothing like it being cast in stone. The beauty of you reaching this level of counseling with the Circle of Excellence is that you are already a person who's playing a bigger game. You're already at a level where you're unique, where you've achieved things in your life, where you've created a value system for yourself. So go and map out money trains that shows what makes you special. There's certain things that you can do in the trust and love carriage that no one else can do. There's certain type of leads that you can attract that no one else can attract. And there's certain things that you can do on the client journey for them that no one else can deliver on. So don't just go and map out your money train thinking of what am I going to put in my lead, or how's my lead carriage going to work, how's my trust, how's my love, all that, how's it going to work. Make sure you are in there, and make sure that the things make you special is in there, because ultimately that's what's going to attract people to your money train, and that's what's going to give this money train incredible momentum. Before I jump off the money train, I want to leave you with this. The money train works the best for those people who has a high commitment and discipline to test and measure the whole journey on this money train. So really make sure that you go and put a lot of people in the lead carriage, because the more you put in the beginning of the money train, the more data you're going to have to test. You know, if you put 2 people in your money train's lead carriage and 1 drop off, there's not much to test and measure. You know, if you put 10 leads in, maybe 2 will go to the trust carriage and 1 to the love carriage, and you've not even gone to the sales. So it's almost like making pasta. You want to put a lot of flour into that pasta machine to get ultimately lots of spaghetti on the other side in order to make real good pastas, delicacies, and have options for, ravioli, and have options for tagliatelle and whatever. So pump a lot of leads in the beginning of your money train. As I said, use Project 500. Then you're already starting to work with the numbers and data that help you to see how you convert, how many leads go to trust, how many to love, how many love to sales, and how many goes to the journey, and how many of those people who's your customers go into an upsell again. See you in the next section.